Grammy winner Lizzo is facing some legal troubles. 3 of her former dancers have filed a lawsuit accusing the singer of sexual harassment and racial discrimination, along with creating a hostile work environment. CBS News has reached out to Lizzo's team, but we've yet to receive a response.
So joining us now are 2 of the plaintiffs in that suit, Arianna Davis and Crystal Williams. Ladies, thanks for joining us. Reading some of the things in the lawsuit, I mean, it is really disturbing and I think rather shocking. You guys say that the dancers were not treated the same as other staff and crew. Arianna, can you sort of give me a sense of how things were different for the dancers?
I just think that the standard for dancers in this camp was very much more stringent and more strict. Things that, the other cast members could do and, get away with, essentially, the dancers were not allowed to engage in any of that activity. In terms of like the false allegations that they had brought forth to us when we were on tour about us drinking before shows and things like that. That was never the case. In fact, alcohol was never even allowed in our dressing room or on our rider, which is the food and drinks provided to us. So it was like literally impossible for us to even do that, but yet we were the ones who were blamed for drinking on the job. It was stated to us by, Lizzo that she was like, it doesn't matter if I'm doing it. It doesn't matter if the band or anyone else is doing it. It's like, you guys can't do it.
What I hear, because you guys were let go, you're saying that, the reasons why you were let go, you believe were false. Why do you think you were let go?
For me personally, we did have a meeting, the one that Ari was speaking of, with her mentioning the allegations of us drinking before shows. And in that particular meeting, I did ask to speak, in which I informed her and let her know that us drinking before shows was never the case, and that we would never want to put her, the show, or ourselves or our jobs in jeopardy, to which she kind of just blew it off and said, okay, well, if you're not drinking befores, well, then good for you. Mm-hmm. You guys still aren't performing the way that y'all need to. And people are probably saying that because of how you're performing. So, and then days later, I was let go in a hotel lobby, so.
Ladies, the lawsuit names Lizzo, her touring company, and her former creative director, Charlene Quigley. Outside of the claims against Lizzo specifically, do you think she was aware of the sexual harassment you say you experienced from Quigley?
I think in a way, Lizzo definitely knew that Charlene was a very outwardly religious person, which is not a problem. It's just when you try to force that onto other people and then in turn make some kind of like strange sexual, it's just a sexually charged situation. And I'm not sure if she was fully aware of that because I don't really think she tried her best to keep tabs on everything that we were going through and, dealing with. But I do know that she knew that, that Charlene was very, very adamant about sharing her faith in the workplace.
So I just want to sort of point out some of the specifics in your lawsuit. In regards to what you're talking about, you said you're alleging that Quigley was pushing her religious beliefs on the dancers and then was sort of critical of dancers who, didn't kind of believe what she believed. But I think kind of some of the more disturbing allegations has to do with sort of a night of partying in Amsterdam, where the allegation is that some of the dancers were pressured into, touching a nude performer. Amsterdam has a red light district that is legal, but that the dancers were made to feel very uncomfortable and participate in ways that they did not want to do. So I'm going to sort of reiterate Ed's question. These are allegations that. Really, the direct question is, did Lizzo know about this behavior that you're alleging?
Well, Lizzo was a participant in Lizzo is the reason that I specifically was pressured to touch a new performer. She singled me out at the club that I didn't want to be at, but was told I couldn't really back out since I already said I was going before I knew what it really was. Once I had time to research it, me and Noel Rodriguez also we figured out what it was, and we're like, okay, maybe we should not go. This is a little weird. um, but then we were told that a head count was already sent, a list was already sent, so she knows who's coming. And at that time, we had already been kind of fearing for our jobs and being ostracized. So it is it's an understanding in the camp that if you don't really participate and try to get in with Lizzo, you won't be booked on as many jobs. She won't like you as much. It just you'll be ostracized later. So we stayed in the corner. We talked to each other the whole time. We tried to ignore, what was happening. A lot of crazy things were happening. And after a lot of explicit things went on, um, Lizzo kind of saw me, singled me out. She was kind of going around like inviting people to touch the nude performers. And I guess it was my turn. And she, started a chant. She was like, "Oh, Ari, it's your turn to do it." And I was like, "No, I'm okay." She was like, "No, come on, do it." And I said no again. And then she said, "Ari, Ari." And then everyone kind of in the club joins in and they're like, "Ari, Ari." So of course, like I had to do it because I couldn't like get out of that situation. So I briefly, touched, and everyone started laughing. It was funny to them because me of all people, they see me as like a very, modest or, that kind of person. So me of all people touching a nude person is like hilarious.
And how were you
Apparently,
feeling at the time?
I was mortified. I even remember like trying to cope with how awkward I felt by like making a joke about like the lotion that the nude performer was wearing. Like I don't even know. I didn't know what to do, so I just kind of like laughed it off. And
Yeah.
unfortunately, I left soon after that with Noel. Yeah.
Arianna, Lizzo is obviously known for being a body image positive person, or somebody who sort of just says you got to own who you are and be proud of it. But you've brought up an incident, you're alleging something that happened at the South by Southwest Music Festival that you claim contradicts this image that's been created around her. Tell us about it.
So actually, South by Southwest was mentioned at one of the end of tour parties, the end of the first leg of tour. Everyone was going around making their testimonials, and it was my turn. I wanted to speak up and say, "Hey, like, just thank you so much for like this great journey," because at the time it was a wonderful journey, for the most part. Besides a couple snafus with management, and their like microaggressions. But other than that, like the journey, I had met amazing people and it was great. So I was saying my piece of saying thank you. And I was saying that before I did this, I didn't really believe in myself, and that it was hard when I first started, but I actually did it and I was proud of myself. And she was like, "Oh, yeah, I was worried about you at South by Southwest." And I was thinking to myself, like, why would she say that she was worried about me at South by Southwest? We were doing promo for the show in South by Southwest, and that was the first time I had physically shown up having gained weight um, in front of everybody and to a Lizzo event, a Lizzo gig or whatever. So that was the only noticeable difference about me. Everything else about me was absolutely the same. My dancing ability was the same. My energy was the same. All of the girls can attest to that. But the only thing about me that was different was my weight. And I believe she was trying to allude to the fact that I was gaining weight in like a way that she wouldn't like get canceled. That makes sense. So it was never like you're fat, you're getting fired. It was never you're gaining too much weight. You're da, 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 da. It was never blatant. It was very nuanced. And she stated in one of the meetings that we had, she was like, dancers get she was basically saying how grateful we should be that she knows our names and that she gives us the time of day. And then she was also saying that, you know, you should be grateful because dancers get fired for gaining weight. And then she kind of looked at me, and I don't know if she remembers if she looked at me, but it always felt like that. And then
Right.
there was another instance when I was cornered into a room with just her and the choreographer, who I looked up to very, very much. So it was very intimidating. And they pulled me into a private meeting, and they wanted to know what was wrong with me. Um, because they said I don't seem the same. All of these don't seem the same, and what's wrong with you? You know, something must be going on. We can see right through you. All these kind of things have been said to me in a way to like mask as a safe space, but really there was this underlying air of like, why are you bigger?
Right.
That's what it felt like.
So let me ask
yeah.
Crystal. You know, a lot of people are going to hear these accusations and be shocked precisely because of what Ed said. Lizzo is known for body positivity. Crystal, I want to ask you, you know, why did you want to work with Lizzo? And you know that some of her fans are going to say, well, you didn't say anything about this experience until after you were fired. So how do you respond to them?
I know for me and Ari's case in particular, our first time even being introduced to her was through the show. So of course, before meeting her, we had this idea of her, and everybody knows her message and her brand and what she stands for when it comes to body positivity, equality for different races, for different genders. And things of that nature. So, of course, with me being a plus size Black woman in America, I did identify with a lot of the things that she stood for. And of course, I love to dance. That's what I'm passionate about. So, whenever the opportunity came for me to get the chance to work with her, that seemed like like my absolute dream job, to which I ended up booking. So we kind of had like this high start, and then over time, as reality kind of sets in and you're seeing that everything isn't the way that it seems, that there's a lot of things that go on behind the scenes, your ideas of things quickly start to shift, and especially with this being like our first professional job, our first tour, we're literally learning everything as we go. And of course, everybody knows that kind of like in Hollywood and in the industry, things that happen don't necessarily get talked about as often. They kind of get swept under the rug. So it was just a lot to process. Until things kind of spiraled out of control.
Crystal, you know, there's that old expression, don't meet your heroes because they might disappoint you. I mean, is this just maybe a case of you had perceptions of what you thought this would be and it turned out to be different because she, like many other performers, has, you know, a different personality off stage? I mean, would an apology in this suffice, or does it really have to become a legal matter?
Yeah, absolutely. I definitely think it's one of those things where it's not just like this is an artist and you admire them for their talent. That while that was, you know, a part of the reason, there's also the other side of everything that she stands for as an artist is a big reason as to why I think people stand behind her as much as they do. And to me, I just couldn't sit with the fact that this was happening behind the scenes and this is a big part of her fan base, but she's kind of contradicting everything that she stands for behind the scenes.
Ladies, I want to thank you for sort of talking to us about this.
Yeah.
You know, as you already know, the reaction on social media has been swift, but there have been others who have come to your defense as well. Arianna Davis and Crystal Williams, thank you.
And if we get a response from Lizzo or her team, we'll, of course, pass that along as well.